the FNL Network talk show.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the FNL Talk Show. I am Sean, joined by the other male, Geoffrey. Bettina, she's in a bubble, it looks like. I want to know exactly where you are. I don't know. You're out of this world. I've always felt that about you. You look otherworldly. And then the beautiful Sasha. I mean, you're a Barbie girl. Come on, Barbie. Let's go party. Yeah. Looking better than ever. So thank you for joining me all. How's everybody doing we're now in fall. Can you believe it? It's pumpkin.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
Right? When did this happen? What the heck?
I love it. I love
You're
it.
ready?
So
You're ready for
beautiful.
fall, Sasha?
Yeah, I'm ready for fall. Well, I'm used to fall where it's so cold in Copenhagen, but I moved to LA and it's much hotter here. But it's still so beautiful, with the flowers and everything here. And yeah, the leaves are so beautiful and brownish and falling off the trees, and it's just really, really nice. I'm looking forward to fall here.
Nice. I don't want summer to go, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I just got back from Portugal. You know, it was like 80 there, beautiful.
Oh my God, yeah. That's amazing.
It was like 80 in New York like a couple days ago. The temperature just dropped today. I have a
Yeah.
little bit of a cold. I'm bitter about it already.
Oh.
I'm
And you have rain now. It's raining. Right?
It's overrated. I don't know. I mean, I would stick with summer another month or two, but that's just me. I don't know. Are you excited for the fall, Geoffrey, Bettina? What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I love fall. I like to dress up with my sweaters, turtlenecks, leather coats. Fall is nice for me. Summer I can't really dress. Fall I can really dress. It represents me well.
All right. And what about you, Bettina?
Prefer the summer. That's my favorite month. I don't like being cold at all. The fall's not so bad. It's the winter that I'd really have a hard time with. And I think I'm hoping at some point I'd love to move to a warmer weather. I just don't know when, how, or any of that. But I really prefer just warm weather. Although, like the beginning of fall, I don't mind too much. Although it was rainy today. I was inside cleaning up today. That was my whole day. I got rid of a lot of stuff and cleaned up, and I'm on a straightening mode for a change.
Well, and to me, like the fall was always like, I know so many people are like, I love spring and fall. Like I like spring because to me it's like, okay, summer's coming, and then we're like fall because it's a warning that winter's gonna come, and especially like if you're in the East, because then like winter can be very long. Like we've been lucky. I mean, honestly, like the last few years, and I know like global warming is not a good thing, but due to global warming, our winters haven't been that terrible, and
they're more mild, right?
Cold. Yeah, so they've been pretty mild. So it hasn't been, like when I first moved to New York many moons ago. So yes, we've had mild winters, and so it's not as dreadful as it had been previous winters. Knock on no wood that's in front of me. So so we'll see. So like I just like did a whole like little almost like fall ceremony of like, okay, I'm going to embrace the fall this year. I'm going to like embrace my inner pumpkin, my inner cider, apples and everything spicy and nicey, and hopefully enjoy it more this time, and not get the winter as much.
You can dress up for Halloween, like dressing up and everything. It's so much fun.
Me and Bettina, we never dress up, do we? We don't know what that's about. We tend to work a lot of events and parties, so we're always like dressing up.
Always dressing up.
Yeah, but I mean, we can enjoy it more. Why not embrace our inner elves and madness and tarot readers and everything else? So we can embrace that. I'm down with it.
I just bought a fabulous new costume yesterday because I went to the Ren Fair, and I bought a fabulous it was sparkly purple and lacy, a whole big outfit for all the different kids. I think I could wear to the balloon jobs as well as the tarot jobs.
It's so cute.
I like your outfit tonight. You look very stylish today, Bettina.
Look at that.
Yeah, you look very chic.
I love the braids. You did braids, right?
Yeah, I got to set at the Ren Fair.
I love that.
Oh, it looks good.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It's fun.
It's so cute.
My mother and sister were laughing at me with the hair.
No, I love it.
That's always supportive.
My mother's like, she's got dementia, so every 5 minutes, she's like, "What's with the hair?" And
it's like a very dark yet comical turn.
I got the Red Fair and blah blah blah, and then 5 minutes later, "What's with the hair?" Like every 5 minutes for an hour.
Oh,
Episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Horrifying, yet funny.
Yes, yes,
Wow.
yes.
When
And
dementia was disturbing, yet funny.
my sister and me were just laughing about it. Like, it was fun.
Okay. Wow. Well, talking about disturbing families, did anybody watch the Menendez movie on Netflix or series? I just started watching it. It's disturbing, but brilliantly acted. Like, I just started watching it. It's like I thought it was very good, like so far. But it's Ryan Murphy. I mean, that's what he does. He does like salacious, sexy, disturbing, entertaining. Like, it covers like all bases. Like, I love all his stuff always. So anyhow, it fits the whole, kit and caboodle. So first it was like the Dahmer series, and now, it's Monsters on Netflix. Chloe Sevigny is the mom. Javier Bardem's the dad. The two guys playing the brothers, I don't really know them, but they're excellent so far. They say the one guy, I think Lyle or Menendez in episode 5, is Emmy worthy, they're all saying, but I think they're great from the beginning. And
yeah.
Well, that's
I'm going to give away part of it. Well, I'm going to give away part of it. I don't care. They go to see a freaking therapist. That's how they got caught. I was like, what? Like, they would have got away with it. Like, it's like, it's in episode 1. So it's not like giving away that much. But I was just like shocked. It's like, you kill somebody and you go tell your therapist? I'm like, really? Really, guys? I'm like, anyhow.
You haven't told your therapist when you've killed people?
He really wasn't a bad person. Like, I mean, that's what it was. I was like, really? I'm like, you schmuck. I was like, okay, whatever. I was just shocked by that. I was like, you told the therapist. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I was less upset with him for killing the parents. I was more he went to the therapist. But maybe that says something about my psyche. So there's probably something wrong with me that I was just like, wow, that's really nuts that he went to the therapist, not that he had killed the parents. But anyhow. I already knew that backstory, so anyhow. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about happier. Well, no, let's not talk about happier things. Let's keep it on the dark, because talking about dark, P. Diddy and his proclivities. Geoffrey, what do you have to say about that? I know you had some, thoughts on the subject.
Yeah, so it's just blowing my mind that people that are influential, have a lot of money, are doing all of this crazy stuff and feeling like they would never get caught. Like, it just blows my mind. I don't know if he's doing it because it happened to him, but I just feel like it's just crazy that I'm seeing, like, it's repeatedly stuff happening with people that are celebrities that are very successful in the limelight, that young kids look up to, that behind the scenes, that all this crazy stuff. Like, when is it going to be a change of really making a difference? Versus you look at this person, like, I grew up with him in college, P. Diddy, with his music. I didn't really care for his music like that, but he was in my era. So everybody looked at him and his music as like, not really, they were saying bad boy, but it really was just the music. And to find out years later, 20, 30 years later, that through all that, he was doing all this crazy stuff with young kids and the sex trafficking and, pulling people in and dosing them up and having sex with them. Like, it just blows my mind that your mind is thinking about hurting a person that may not be, how do I say it, may not be the person that is, what is the word I'm looking for, y'all? That is know exactly what's going on because they drugged up. Put it that way. They're influenced.
They're not giving their consent.
Yeah,
they're not giving
that to me is
consent.
that's to me is totally wrong. Like,
Yeah.
you're taking the innocence of somebody that don't really know what's going on and using it for your own self-pleasure. That to me drives me crazy when I think of people thinking like that. So that's my opinion on that.
That to me.
It just blows my mind.
It's horrible.
It's horrible. It really is. So yeah, I just, I wanted to get your opinion on when you hear about that and the things that he's doing, and just in Hollywood and places like that where these people are just influential, that you find out all this dark stuff that they're doing, and they're in their mind, they think that their money going to get them out of it, but a wrong is wrong. It is what it is. If you poor rich, it's wrong. So that's my opinion. That thing really hit me hard, y'all, and I really wanted to discuss it.
Yeah, I understand that. With my point of view of the situation is that we all know that a lot of Hollywood stars have been like that over the years. You know, when you go back to the start of Hollywood, there's a lot of people that was like that, that did horrible things, and you did not know anything about it because it was not out in the public. And then you heard about it later after their death, or, you know, after they became older, and, you know, and I think that's so horrible that these things go on. And I think it's always connected with people with power, you know, people
Yeah.
with power and money, and that has that way to give you fame. You know, I think that's the whole thing. They can do it, you know, because they have the power and the dynamics to do it. And, you know, I moved to LA a year ago, and I've already seen now, when I've been out partying, meeting people, you know, they all want to make you rich and famous, you know, and they're all like these men with a lot of money and a lot of power and with contacts, and you're afraid of getting, you know, you're afraid of getting into that situation where you're used, but you also have to, you know, play the game, if you can say it like that, in some ways or shape or form. And I think it's a slippery road, because in the end, what are you going to do? You know, and I heard about P. Diddy, and I read about it, and I think it's horrible. I know that there's a lot of people that are connected with him. So it's not only him, it's a lot of people. And I think that it's so difficult when they're all connected in some way, to point out only one person. Now it's P. Diddy, but I think there's a lot of other people as well behind it. And I think it is Hollywood in general. I think there's a lot of people in Hollywood that can be like that. It's very male dominant. I think it's sad that they now point out, like, the whole thing with being gay, that is, well, he was gay. Well, that's not a thing. You know, there's nothing wrong with being gay. The
Yeah.
thing that's
Yeah, it's
wrong,
not that.
no, it's not that. It's more to do with that he used people that did not give their consent, and also people that were younger than they were supposed to be in that kind of
In those
relation.
setting. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we call it being a pedophile, you know, and it's disgusting. And I think it's horrible. I have that feeling with children and animals. You know, they're so innocent. And when they do that with the whole Hollywood thing, you know, with these powerful men, that they just abuse women and young women and young men, I think it's horrible. I think it's horrible. And I think it's something that is now finally coming out, and hitting the lights, and people can go in and they can discuss it, and they can just, you know, they can say what they mean about it, and be open about it. And I think before you couldn't. So it has opened a portal, but it's again, it's a very, very slippery road. And again, I think it's important to always say that a person is innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
So that's also the thing, you know, you can't just say that a person is guilty unless the person is guilty. But apparently there's a lot of evidence that is showing that, in fact, he is guilty in what he's done, you know.
Yeah, he's being held without bond. What do you think about this case so far? Do you know much about it, Bettina?
I know a tiny bit about it. I mean, the only thing I'd have to say is, like, people with money and power feel like they could do whatever. Not all of them, you know, a lot of them are good people and they give to charity and stuff. But there's the other people that just feel like I can get away with anything because I have money. If I go to jail, I just pay someone, or I know secrets about people, so they'll never send me to jail. You know, there's so many rich and powerful people that just think they can do whatever they want because they have all the money to get them out of any situation, and they have a lot of yes men around them that will help them do anything. People they can hire, like the fanciest lawyers, you know, to get them out of situations. So that's a sad result of some wealthy and powerful people. And it's a shame, obviously, what he's done is horrible. It's not fun to be on the receiving end of that.
No.
No, to me, I don't know really enough about the details of the case about him in particular, to be perfectly honest. I mean, in my mind, clearly if you're in a position of power, like a lot of these folks are, most people would be throwing themselves at you where you don't need to do this. So clearly for people to do things like this, it's either getting the one person who says no, or to do something that's like, beyond fetishized, or some sort of thing that is mentally wrong with them, or some sort of need for a power or a control that is just off the normal course of things. On the other hand, as well, you'd see like, that there's a pattern of like so many people like from Matt Gaetz being accused of similar things and getting away with it, where it just disappears all of a sudden because his whole family's been in Congress, like, accused of sleeping with a 16-year-old, and whatever happened with that? Nothing. Now it's all gone. And then Epstein, all of a sudden he's dead. Oh, okay. Had a whole island hanging out with, two presidents, Trump and Clinton, and their whole band of fools,
They
and
also have PR teams, they have PR teams that go in and squash the, some of the allegations and things that are said. So they're deleted, or, they manipulate it with the truth. And then it becomes so weird and so difficult to actually navigate in it. But I think it's just a horrible thing. And I think it's sad that it has to be like that, and I think again, it has to be with, masculinity, toxic masculinity as well, because I think it's to do with a lot of these men that are not openly gay. So they're trying to, do it behind closed doors. And when you suppress something, it becomes worse, and then, they live out a fantasy or whatever. And it just becomes a dark side of what was supposed to just be a normal thing, because there's nothing wrong with being gay. And now they're just like talking about him like, oh, well, he's a gay guy. And but that's again, toxic masculinity. So they're talking about his sexuality. I don't think there's anything wrong with his sexuality in that sense, but being pedophile, of course, is not okay. It's not, but it's just the thing that they put that together with being a gay man, that I think is wrong. And I think that's really important to be vocal about and just say, well, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think it's again to do with, he's a Black guy, and as a Black man and being in the rap industry, music industry, there's also some stigmatization for like being a gay man, and that's finally coming out, and it's getting to be normalized. And I think that's really important. And I think it's really important that we don't forget that, you cannot just go in and say, well, because he's gay, then this and that, and I think that in the news now, it's been a lot to do with that. And there's been they have made a lot of reels about it on Instagram. Social media has gone crazy about it, and almost making jokes of him being a gay man.
So I didn't mean to cut across you. I thought you was finished.
No, it's fine. It's just because I think it's important that we separate those two things. Being a gay man and then being a pedophile is not the same thing.
Most definitely. So the thing is that Sean Puffy Combs, his label was known for this street kind of thug type mindset and mentality. So the thing was with him was in the scene of like the nightlife with these beautiful women. So for him to have a struggle and hide it, but hide it behind using young innocent men, to me is the thing that people are there. It's not a joke. So because when you really think about it, it's a mental thing going on.
Yeah.
He's hid it for so long that his mind is just can't come forth with who he really is, because he's hid behind that, and he's put such as image of who he's supposed to be,
exactly,
that who he want to be.
Yeah, I
so
agree.
Now it's like it's messing him up, and now because it's exposed, people want to point, especially in the Black race, that is something that they want to brush under the rug when it comes to struggles and issues or Black men or women, whatever they have. The families don't want to deal with it. So they kind of, they make that person like, don't be doing that stuff because it's not, it's not right or whatever the scenario is. And then they, they take them to church and they think that they can deliver them, whatever the scenario is. But it's so much deeper with generational things that, yeah, it's sad that it's coming forth the way it's coming forth.
Yeah.
But to me, maybe it's a freeing for him, but it's not freeing for the people that he have exposed to it that may never, ever wanted to go down that road. To me, that's the thing that I don't like that he did. He allowed people to be exposed to something that in their mind, they never even fathom even thinking about stuff like that. And to open people up to that, it's not right because it does create a dark side. It does hurt. It does alter the mindset and how you perceive yourself and, being confident in any arena of what you're trying to do. So those are the things that I just feel like he don't realize what he really did. Or maybe this is time that he can, think about and look back on those things and look and think about them in a humble mindset and like, I really messed and own up to it. I really messed up, and I need to
I
change
think
it.
it's very difficult for him to just say, well, I really messed up when he's done things that are so, what I've heard so far. And again, it's allegedly said that he drugged them as well, so, and if that's true, then that it's a felony. You can't go around drugging people.
No.
So, and I think again, it has to do with the whole stigmatization about being a gay man, and not and it couldn't be open about it, and I think that's a really important message to get out there, that, it shouldn't be stigmatized and it shouldn't be seen as a wrong thing to be. But at the same time, I think what he's done at that time, and we have to remember that this is like what, 10 years ago, 15 years ago,
15, 20 years ago.
15, okay, yeah, so it's a long time ago, like, and it was a different kind of climate we were in at that time as well. And so everything's really suppressed.
No, and it wasn't 1952. And it's not that way.
Still, it's changed a lot.
No, it wasn't 1952. And, most crimes are committed by people, 1 in 3 women may be sexually assaulted, 1 in 6 women could be raped. I mean, so it's not a gay thing. We can just move on from this. I mean, it's going over and over and over and over about that. So like enough, kibosh. Aside from that, Bill Cosby was known for drugging people. Dahmer drugged people. A lot of people do this. Now, it's also a party scene. Some of these people may willingly have taken drugs as well. We do not know. That said as well, we don't know enough about these cases because I did see, a little bit of the Netflix thing on Kevin Spacey, and some of the people there were like, oh, I'm a heterosexual male, but I thought I might have gotten a role. So I actually gave him a BJ, but it didn't work out. Now, I'm a little sad I did it. And I think I was abused. And then there were other people where they're like, he outright touched me and it ruined my life. So I do think sometimes there might be an opportunist in the midst and some people may be abused. And sometimes you might have 100 cases where there can be, I think if you have enough stories, there is a truth behind it, to be honest, and enough people come true. And then it being Hollywood, I think there are some people taking advantage. And even in the case itself, there were like some were afraid to leave because then they might lose their career. They might lose, the homes.
Yeah.
Do we really feel sorry for that? I mean, that's a little bit different than, I'm being tied to a radiator. I'm being, sexually assaulted against my will. I'm being drugged, whatever. Now, if this started as a minor and you had no one else and then you were brainwashed and then this abuse continued, okay, because you didn't know better from the beginning and this is kind of where you were led, even if it led to a career. I understand that as well. There's so many different layers and levels like an onion.
But Sean, there's just so many people involved in it. That's the whole thing that is so, scary and disgusting when you think about it.
Videos
knew about it.
It's videos that are being discussed that some of these people, like even Usher, he was like 12 or 13, hanging living with him for a year, like a year's time span, and he was trying to get him in club. So this is stuff that has been videotaped, that he was trying to get him in the club scene. He was like, why am I going to a club scene and I'm not even old enough? He was getting him into those type of scenes. And to me, it's like a prepping. And we don't look at those things. We don't want to deal with it. I can deal with it because that happened to me. I know what molestation is. Yeah, I was on the back end of that. So I can talk about those things and how it feels and make you feel. So I can openly talk about it on here. You are the one that actually sometimes become the victim, and then you don't know how to come forth, because it does happen to people that are very close to you. Then you don't want to be known for this person that, you started it or you created it or whatever, because you're young and you're so innocent. You don't know what to do. You don't know who to talk to or how to express that, what happened to you as a child. So those things that, that are coming forth, and I pray that he did not do it. But if he did, it does create a situation for a young kid that their life spirals down and it's hard for them to float in the purpose or whatever they're trying to do in life, because it actually it's like a nightmare to them repeatedly over and over again in their mindset. And that deliverance is not easy to be delivered from. So yeah, my heart does go out heavy when it comes to young kids and them being in situations where, or innocent people that just wind up being nice, because some people are very nice and wind up in uncompromising situations and don't know how to back up out of it, because they thought this person was a genuinely good person. And you're in a room, like you're by yourself, and you're just like, oh my God, what is going on? How did I get caught up in it? Those things really do happen to people. Some people are not a yes person to a situation. Some people are not yes to drinking. Some people do drink and they're not expecting for them, when they're drinking, that someone in their mind is already scheming on how they're going to get them in the bedroom and do something crazy to them. That's the world. That's the thing I deal with. That's how the world thinks. People are sitting in backdrops waiting to prowl on innocent people when they see them in a vulnerable state, you know? So those are the things that I felt like I really wanted to discuss and be very open when I come forth, when I talk about it, because we want to sugarcoat things. But if he did do it, he did it, And there's a lot of stuff that's coming out that are filmed way back when some of those people are very young. It's not something recent. You can look at their faces and tell they were very young when they was videotaping some of these interviews that were going forth, when it was pertaining to them being a part of that and not knowing what was going on.
Well, hopefully justice will be done. And the ironic thing is, he must not have known the charges were what they were, because he turned himself in, probably thinking it was way less, because they weren't disclosed what the charges were, and he could have fled. He chose to come to New York to turn himself in, because they must
that was a very wise decision.
Yeah. So that's what they had alluded to as well. So may justice be done, on behalf of the victims and everyone else, that we can wish for. And on a lighter topic, Bettina, what do you want to discuss?
Oh, my question?
Yes.
Okay, I was talking about how people make decisions about, like, the artistic decisions about what they want to view or listen to. Like, when you want to see a movie, or when you want to wear certain clothes or listen to certain music, how do you base your decisions? I know so many people just, like, all they do is, like, they read the reviews of the most top movies or top music or top fashion things or top restaurants or this and that. And being that I was always a person that didn't read any reviews, like, I just wanted to know, like, my own opinion. Like, I'll go to the movies, or it can mostly, well, no, I see all kinds of movies, from independent features to the, the blockbuster hits. But I don't go based on what other people have said. I go and kind of have my own opinion about what I think of it. And same thing with books I read, or things I wear, or anything, restaurants I go to. It's all based on me, what I want to do. I'm a kind of a unique person, but I was just wondering, like, how much stock do you put in, like, reviews, Yelp reviews, things like that, or trendy things. Um, Based on your opinion of things. So those are my questions. Yeah.
Well, I'll go first. I mean, for restaurants, I was a fat kid. I love food. So I'll always read the Yelp reviews, so then like what dishes they're known for, because a lot of times, you'll go somewhere and the menu's extensive, and I also like a lot of different types of food. So it might narrow it down. So I might be like, okay, this place is more known for their seafood versus other types of food. So that will help me make decisions. Also, too, on my recent trip to Portugal that I mentioned I went on, it turns out like when you visit places, most people go to the same damn highlighted spaces. So if you're like, oh, this is the most famous castle, this is the most famous tour, this is the most famous then you could be like, do I want to do these places? And if the answer is yes, then you just put that on your list to do, and it just makes life, I think, so much easier. Whereas like maybe years ago, back in the day, maybe you needed a travel agent or somebody for advice or read brochures or what have you. But now with the advent of the internet, you can either look at your friends on social media, Facebook, Yelp reviews, TripAdvisor, what have you, and it helps really narrow it down. And even things like the Menendez movie or whatever, I didn't know that it just hit Netflix or whatever, but it popped up on one of my social media feeds. And I'm like, oh, I like dark, salacious things. Let me check it out. And so that's like what brought my attention to it. Otherwise, I wasn't like waiting for it to drop or, anything like that or, what have you. Even like The Perfect Couple with Nicole Kidman, like things will pop up on my feeds. And, and again, maybe it's algorithm stalking me as well. Maybe it's Big Brother. I don't know. But if I hear enough, even like a 2, I think The Perfect Couple, like on my algorithm, gotten mixed reviews, but some people are like, oh, there's Nicole Kidman again playing, like a rich woman having breakdowns. So some people love it, some people don't, but it's enough to make me curious to want to see it. So I haven't seen it yet, but I probably will, because it pops up a lot with people giving their comments, So for me, entertainment, food, vacations, I do take that all. Fashion, no. I mean, I have a boxier build. I have a big butt. I need to try things on. I know what works for me. I like bold patterns. I like wackadoodle things. So I make my own decisions there. I guess, and then as far as like movies and shows and stuff, like I don't mind reading the reviews of it, but it won't stop me from still seeing it and making my own assessment, because a lot of times I'll agree with what the critics say, but sometimes I won't as well. So it won't make or break it. But sometimes I'm interested in seeing what somebody has to say. But I also do like knowing, like, is it going to take my entire life? Like, is this movie like 4 hours long? Or is the like 2 parts? Because that's a commitment. So that's good to know. As well going in. So sometimes it can be.
That's one of the first thing I check. How long? Like how many minutes is it?
How much of my life is being committed to this? Yeah, especially like if it's a public event. Like if it's at home, clearly you can go back to it, but if you're going to it, I don't know. So
I even like to know at home.
Okay, yeah, at home, yeah. Well, but I'm by myself. But if you're hot and single, call me. Then we can watch it together. Still trying, still putting out there. It's fall. We can have cider and pumpkins together. All right. Okay. Next, who wants to go next? Geoffrey, you're laughing, smiling.
Okay, so when it comes to entertainment and movies and books, I like to experience them for myself. I like to go and, I don't really deal with reviews. A lot of people, listen to the review. You see stuff, you see movies, and your opinion may be totally different from what somebody else perceived. Now, when it comes to fashion, I definitely don't do the trends. I'm a fashion person, so when I walk into a store, I visualize. If I see something, I put it together how I want to wear it. I don't normally just piggyback off of trends, because trends go in and out of style. So that's what I do. Food, I love to taste different foods. If it looks too weird and too scary, I'm not gonna indulge. I'm gonna leave it alone. But yeah, I like to try different things. But I definitely like to go out and navigate and figure out on my own opinion, not from somebody else's opinion. I've always been like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Sasha?
I love social media, so I use Instagram a lot. So when I see something on Instagram, I'm just like, oh my God, like curious about it. And that could be a movie. If I see a new movie and they're making like a sponsored ad or something, I go in and check the trailer and see if it's something that I like. And I also read the reviews because I think that if a lot of people like the movies, well, most of the time, then they're good, and if they have really bad reviews, sometimes, they're not that good. But I love, again, I love food. And I moved to LA a year ago, and it's really dangerous because there's so much fast food here, and it's really good. And I love burgers. I love the smash burgers, typical Californian smash burgers. And they have so many good places here in LA. And especially if you're in a car, you can just drive and you can, go and drive through and then order some food. So it's a lot of fun. And I see these reviews, and I see some of the Instagram videos where you see people talking about, food and how it tastes. And, I'm a really sucker for that. I really love that. And again, I love pop culture. So everything that has to do with pop culture and what's going on. And, I love that, even though it's not popular to say that, I think that there's a lot of art in it as well. Like I go to art galleries, and I have a lot of artsy friends, and they do art, and I, take recommendations from them as well. So if there's something they like to see, I'm just very open to seeing that, even though I don't know anything about it. And I learned that I have to be like a sponge, and just suck everything in, and just, get inspiration, get ideas, being open-minded and not being judgmental about things, because I came from Denmark and Copenhagen, and then coming to LA and America and seeing all these things. There's so many things here. And it's a lot to digest, but I love it, and there's so many funny things to see. And I was in and seeing also like theater here in Griffith Park. They have like a theater, open theater. So you can sit outside and watch it. And it was a lot of fun as well. So I love that. I really do. Yeah.
Nice to hear what everyone thinks about that.
Well, yeah, and Sasha, I have a question for you. Like I read, they said that most of the time the food influencers don't get free food, but I don't believe it because they like always have a ton of food. So how are they buying all this food? And then a lot of times it's fast food, and a lot of times it's for women like you. I'm like, why are they getting fat? Like, I mean, I was eating that every day. My ass keeps getting bigger. And
I think they're spitting it out. To be honest,
like, I wouldn't look like you. I'm like, not that I'm gonna look like you either way, but I'm just saying I would gain weight. So I mean, like I don't get it. Like, what's up?
Well, I gained weight after I came to America because I was like, I think I was like 125 or something, and now I'm up 130. And I gained some weight, but again, the food is amazing here. And I think with these food influencers that are being bought or whatever, I think they eat a little bit. I don't think they eat all of it. I think they just show it like, oh, this burger is really good. And, but I don't blame them. I would love to be like a food critic or like a food influencer. Actually, I talked to some of my friends about it. I should just try out all the fast foods and just sit and talk about it. Like, how is it for a Dane to be in LA and trying all these different things out? Because, even now when October is coming and, with the whole fall and Halloween theme, I love pumpkin spice, and I love these pumpkin pies. I've never tried it before. So last year I tried it and I was like all for it. I love pumpkin pie. And that was like the first time I've ever tried it.
And why do people eat in their car? I don't understand this. Like everybody's eating in their damn car. Are they all homeless? Like I don't understand this. Like every time
I think it's so
they're in their damn cars.
That's the thing. It's so easy, to just take your car and then drive through, a fast food place and then sit and eating it and sitting and talking or going by the beach. And, I think it's just so easy. But that's also very dangerous because then you're not going for a walk or anything. So you're not burning all your calories.
Yeah, they never get fat. I don't know. If you're a food influencer, write into the show, write into SeanPBennett.com. I want to know, why aren't you fat? How are you paying for the food? And how the hell can I join you? Because it seems effing great. I don't know. I'm jealous. I'm jelly.
I love it.
I'm jelly you're eating free jelly. I'm just saying. And then your butt isn't made of jelly. I don't know how you're doing it. I have no idea. God bless.
Exactly.
God bless. So I got to say about that. All right. So watching the news nonstop, it's politics. So like even not getting too political about teams or whatever, they keep saying everything is neck to neck. Do we believe that it's neck to neck still, like everything? Like what do we think? Bettina, do you think it's still like 50-50? I mean, you know, they say the nation's divided, like only like 40,000, 100,000 votes, whatever. The last, 8 years, like it was kind of like neck to neck, basically. Popular vote, the Democrats always win, but we sometimes like lose, the electoral college. What say you? Do you think it's still neck to neck or are polls wrong?
I think mostly polls are right. Like more often than not, I think the polls are right. I mean, in my own experience, I know people voting for, you know, both parties, whereas I don't remember that previously. Like in the previous times, I really only knew my camp, the Democrats or the lefty liberals, which is where mostly where I'm at, and I didn't hear. But now, just people I know, kind of telling me about. Um, no, I think, you know, you know,
Hmm.
they're gonna. I know people voting for both candidates, which that's the thing that makes me nervous about the whole thing because I I don't want to go backwards. I want to go forwards. I'm very worried about this 2025 project, and I think that's evil and horrible and scary for anyone other than an old white guy. You know, if you're old rich white guy, you don't have to be so worried in this world. But if you're any kind of ethnicity or any kind of minority or a female, we're in scary times. So I know I'm like veering off the original topic of question, but um, I have I don't want to go into details, but just knowing people on both sides this time more than last time is the thing that makes me concerned about what's going to happen. And I think, and to bring it back, I think the polls are mostly correct. You know,
What about you, Sasha? Do you think the polls are correct and it's a 50-50 tie still at this point or
I
no?
think America is very divided right now. So I do believe that it is almost 50-50, yeah. But that's a very positive thing because I think that there will be swing states and there will be people that will go out and vote that hasn't decided yet who to vote for. And I think that Harris has a big chance to win this election. And I didn't think that in the beginning. I was actually thinking, I think it's gonna be Trump, but right now it has changed so much, and I think it's because she can finally show herself as who she is, where she's not, it's not like she's behind Biden anymore. So and I think that really does a lot because she has her own voice, and I think that women need to have their own voice to be heard and to be respected, and she's finally getting that recognition that she really deserves. And I think that she's such a good candidate, and I do believe that she's going to win the election.
And what do you think, Geoffrey? Do you think that, it's still neck and neck, or do you think the polls got it wrong?
I think it's neck and neck. I think that people are right now just a little reserved. They're not so quick to jump, and they're just filling out both parties. And as they get closer to it, I think it's gonna be a surge where I just feel like Kamala is gonna be the one that's gonna actually take the torch because she's something new and fresh and she's coming up. We've experienced Trump, and we've seen where thing has gone with him. And I just think that people are just right now just kind of sitting back and see as each party come forth and what they're speaking on, and they're filling it out because that's what I'm doing, kind of filling out. Okay, who's going to be the candidate that's going to really take United States and really transform it and put it back in place how it used to flow versus allow us to continue going down this rat road that we've been
it's
going
going to
down.
be chaos.
Yeah, because it's been a minute since COVID, and there should be a change. I don't want to go into another 4 or 5 years dealing with what we've been dealing with because there's got to be some joy in America. America supposed to be this place of um
No.
land of the promising of, you come here and you can really be successful. And I feel like it's like a woe is me each day that you get up. You're just like, are we still United States, or
Yeah.
have someone else taken over? You're just so undecisive right now, and people are just not so quick to jump and move like they used to. They're really using more wisdom and how to perceive who is going to be the best candidate. To me, that's what I see what's going on.
Now, the second part to my question would be, to me, it is incomprehensible or incomprehensible how people could still be undecided. I mean, we've seen Trump in the public media for many, many years, as a public persona. Then he actually had been president. Okay, maybe Kamala's policies or what have you are less known, but Trump has no policies at the end of the day. He says what's ever on top of his mind. So really, it's just kind of like, left, right, you like this, you like that. So when people are like, I'm undecided, I'm like, do you live under a rock? Do you want, what are you undecided about? I find it very hard to believe.
Some of that is entertainment too now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
some of that is entertainment. People are enjoying the entertainment.
Oh, and I think that's how he won the first time. We would nominate a Kardashian. I think a Kardashian could be president. Make America fuck again. You could win. I mean, this is our country. I mean, I think that's where we live. But I mean, I'm wondering, I'm like, why, my question is, why do we think,
I have family that's undecided. I can tell you their thoughts.
Oh, please.
So I have family that's religious Jewish.
Okay.
So, and they definitely were definitely gonna vote for Biden. But the thing is, when Kamala came, they don't like this idea. They're very into Israel. They don't like the idea of a two-party state. They want only Jews to live there. And Kamala, from my understanding, wants to have the Jews and the Palestinians live peacefully, which is something I'd like to see. But my religious family doesn't like that. And so they're very conflicted. They understand the chaos and the evilness of Trump, but they don't want to see Palestinians living in Israel. So they're undecided, which freaks me out, because it's like, can you not see that it's more important about our country right now? Like, isn't that more important? Like, to have a female president for the first time, to fight for women's rights. I mean, to me, this is like so much more important than asking for chaos in the White House. And also this one issue, it's like a one party issue or something, right? Like, I only care about Israel. That's like all I care about. And it seems to me that this person's is better than the other person, even though that Trump only cares about himself. He doesn't care about the Jewish nation or the nation of Israel. I mean, that's still a terrible choice. So, but anyway, they're undecided. They can't decide because they don't want to vote for Kamala, and they know how horrible Trump is. So that's where their indecision comes from.
I think that's where it is. Like, because people don't know Kamala. She's really just coming up there, because she was really like quiet behind the scenes. So nobody really knows how she really moves, what, her wisdom is when it comes to the United States. To see her come forward and really talk, it is a refreshing, because she hid behind the scenes for the last 4 years. Like, I don't know what she really did.
Well, that's all vice presidents. That's their job. They're not supposed to be in the forefront.
That's good. That's good, because it's like, the way that it shifted, it put her in place where people are like, okay, somebody's new coming up, and she's talking with, because she was a previous lawyer. So her mindset is more stable, and the things that she is actually bringing forth is actually what the United States used to hear when presidency was going forth and we were trying to choose candidates. So that's the thing. I think a lot of people are just sitting back and they're trying to fill out, okay, is she about the business of the United States? Because we already know what Trump's going to do, but is she really about her business? So that's why people, to me, they're not moving so quickly. It's not just choosing of, let me choose her. It's really, let's see how this really going to play out before we jump, because I feel like in the last 4 to 8 years, we have jumped, and United States have been looking crazy. We as people are trying to figure out, okay, do y'all have our best interests? Is it going to people come in and going to filtrate United States and try to feel like they can bully us? To me, I just feel like people are trying to get back into position and make sure they choose the right person so we can go forward, So
What
that's
about you, Sasha? Why do you think people don't know where they're going to vote?
I think it's because her way of describing her politics have sometimes been a little bit uncertain. And then a lot of people have been worried about, like, what is she gonna do? Like, how is the economy? How is that gonna look in the future for America? And I think that in some ways it's really good that she's not being too vocal about what she's gonna do, because I think also as a president, you need to keep your cards, to yourself, and especially up to an election. If she's going to say too much, she said too much, so it is, you're damn if you do and you're damn if you don't, so I think she has to be so careful with her words, and she also has to be the voice of every American, and so therefore for her to create the United States of America, you need to be good at being so united and having everyone in the same boat. And that is very difficult because you need to be vocal, but at the same time, you don't want to lose some of your potential voters. So I think to be too clear about her politics could be a downfall for her as well. So, and when you hear Trump, when he said some of the things, he has already now made so many mistakes in the debate with Harris, and he almost looked like a kind of a crazy person without saying too much, or I don't want to say anything bad about anyone. And
your neighbors aren't eating dogs? Because my immigrant neighbors are eating dogs. Totally kidding.
Of course.
Yeah.
But again, like it is arguing with stupid, and I think when she was standing there and just looking at him, I think she was just in shock. Like, what are you just saying? This is just extreme. And she won a lot after that. I think a lot of people that was uncertain or unsure about who to vote for, I think they start realizing maybe we should start considering voting for Kamala Harris, and I think that is the best decision, the only decision. I think if we want a United States of America to be intact, I think we should vote for her, and also for the brand America, and because it is all about, standing together, fighting for dreams, fighting for equality, fighting for everybody, and she is the face for everyone. She's standing there to fighting for women right, for the minorities, in America. And at the same time, she's also fighting for getting a better economy again, for America. So it's not gonna be, well, right now it's just not looking that well, and when we see it in the world of economics, I think that, for her to be a person to represent America would be the best solution, because again, Trump has so many problems with so many politicians in other countries in Europe, for example, because I'm from Denmark, in Europe, and he doesn't have a good reputation. So if he would win the election and become again the president of America, I think that it's going to cause a lot of problems. It really it will. And I don't think it's going to be the same for her. I think she's going to be taken and treated much better, treated much better.
Yeah, well, I was on vacation in Europe. The Europeans basically said they thought Trump was a fool. Yet they also voted for Brexit, and they're going more far right as well. So, I mean, it's very interesting. The shift in politics is worldwide for whatever wacko jacko, reason.
And again, it's the first female president. Come on, we're living in 2024. We need a female president. So again, we need to also, and I know that, but it's not about gender. Well, sometimes we also need to think about that, because we need to have, we also need to show that as a woman, you can make it and you can become as president. And she has the brains to back it up, and she has the will and she has the ambitions. And so I think that would be amazing to see that for a lot of women, and especially young girls, to see, wow, now we have a female president.
Well, who is she lowest in the polls with? White males. And why is that? Probably because, I mean, I think sadly, and that's probably why I do think there are a lot of undecided people. A, they have a problem with race. B, they have a problem with a woman being a president.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that is why a lot of people are still on defense, you know, as well, especially the white male vote. You know, they didn't want a woman. They didn't want a woman of color, you know, as well. They might think a woman's more emotional or any of the old excuses that have been used for many a moons or many of years. But you know, these are the two choices, folks, and that's just what it is. You know, we have an old angry man and we have a young vibrant woman. We have one who doesn't believe in democracy, and we have one who does. We have one who never wants to leave office, and one who doesn't want to believe in the vote, and we have one who does. And so these are our two choices, you know, when election day on November 5th, you know. I do think, you know, Kamala has a great team. You know, I do think, you know, it's very interesting, you know, how it was all put together. I think they market her like Obama light, which I think is great. I think they took up a lot of the running points of, you know, the Republican Party, like we like guns, we like America, you know, we like the flag. And I think that's great. Why not? The Democrats never did that before. It was a whole different type of convention. But, you know, to Geoffrey's point, it was about joy. It wasn't about, you know, brooding and anger and hating your neighbor, but it was, you know, about embracing and bringing more people into the fold, and that we are, you know, for everyone. Yes, there's flipping on policy, like, you know, yeah, we love fracking because we need Pennsylvania, but screw it, we want to win, so frack away in Pennsylvania if that's what it takes to win Pennsylvania. So I mean, yes, it's a flip-flop, you know, but then again,
But
Trump,
I think some of the swing states are gonna vote for her. I really do believe that.
I mean, there's fragments of the votes. I mean,
Yeah.
so that's what they need to do. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, so, you know.
Because they rebranded her, you know, the way that she was before with Biden and now it's such a big difference. You know, she finally had her own voice.
Well, yeah. And I mean, and her likability factor went through the roof. Well, because before she was just a prosecutor, because that's what she had done.
Exactly. And now she's so much more likable.
And shockingly, you know, what I found too, who became likable out of the blue was Hillary Clinton, because that was always her lowest, you know, point to me. She actually gave a great speech, I felt, at the Democratic convention, whereas I think one of the reasons she lost when she ran against, you know, Trump is she always came across on TV like an angry lesbian, and everything was television. I mean, you know, from now on, and this is just a note to the Democrats as well, all candidates, it's American Idol. So it doesn't matter how qualified they are, make sure they make good television. Marjorie Taylor Greene would not be in office if it wasn't for television. She looks like a lesbian lion, but her mouth does not shut up. That's why she's in office. So you need people who make good television. That's all that effing matters from now on.
Oh
you know, and that's all that matters, you know, and that's what they need to remember. I mean, you know, that's the main thing. And the team behind Kamala right now, they've got it, because, you know, all the messaging points, like she's the woman of change, even though she's in office, but she's changing. So God bless. I mean, because she can. I mean, I honestly do believe that she believes in a lot of what she says. And to get to where she is, she probably had to be twice as qualified as any man and any other person of non-color, hands down, you know. And what qualifications did Trump have? He had a reality show, and he never listened to his briefings, and he, you know, and everybody he either fired or they quit, and, you know, and then he tried to storm the Capitol on his way out. I mean, this is who we want as option B? Come on, forget about it. Forget it.
And just imagine how it's going to be when she becomes president and what she's going to wear as well. It's going to be much more fun to look at as well.
I'm fashion forward.
There you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of fashion in it.
We'll have our first Madam President and not just on TV. So knock on wood. So, and Bill Maher predicted it, and everything Bill Maher has said so far has come true. He said Trump wouldn't leave. He was the only one who was right. He said that we should replace Biden's old ass. He was right. And now he said that, you know, Trump talking about eating dogs, he's on a final spiral. So go Bill Maher. So, you know, that's what, you know, so knock on wood. Okay, any final thoughts, gang? Yeah. All right, go fall. And everybody else, go to hell to bed. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. This has been the FNL Talk Show. Peace out.
Bye.